streaming is this is like my regular gameplay, and you don't want to be pressured into getting online and playing your video game. I mean, come on, it's just a video game. Let's relax, a little bit, and you know, so yeah, no pressure. If I get to it, cool, and if I don't, then I'm sorry. If I've disappointed you in any way. But yeah, it's really not a priority for me getting that done. I commit to the show for Thursday nights, and I try to commit to the roundtables on Saturdays. But as far as committing to the game streaming my gameplay, I don't want to commit to that. Don't want to do it. Yeah, chill out and relax stream. I like that. It's like, hey, it's a have a beer stream. Speaking of which, I think I might go have a beer. Maybe I go grab a beer. Yeah, it's all good, G Daddy. All right, I'm gonna go grab a beer like right now. Hey, Hiram, just finished your Reaper fleet. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. I was actually, I got coin again, and I'm just gonna step away, but I'm gonna keep my mic on so I can keep talking to y'all. Um, but anyway, I'm going to. I wanted to check out my Reapers with my Reaper fleet design because I'm thinking, if I got coin, do I want to just coin the Reaper fleet? Can I get my whole fleet done, or would it be cheaper for me to finish off my Hellstrike fleet type of thing? And so that's what I'm currently debating right now. It's like when you don't get a lot of coin to spend, the coin that you do spend, you want to spend it wisely, um, and sometimes that involves quite a bit of research. But and I'm very indecisive anyway. I have a really hard time making my mind up. It's a terrible thing, man. It really is. It's a horrible thing, even. Sometimes it's like whenever I pull the trigger on that, the cha-ching, golly, it hurts me like every time, man. It's terrible. Oops. All right. Beer, beer, beer. Magnus, Solid Fuel Booster 3, and Battery 3, all D2S R4. And it gets seen easily when it shoots 7 Deluge 3s. Um, yeah, the solution for that, quite honestly, Justice, would be just keep retrofitting your D2S armor. Mine is actually up to R10. I'm hoping that's going to be a good enough. I mean, you could actually go a step further and actually pull a couple of Deluge missiles off. Maybe replace it with some siege torpedo Bs or something like that. That way, if you can actually do some fighting on the run if you have to in a pinch. But the because the more missiles you have on there, the more it's going to take away from your stealth. I think it's like each one that fires removes 5 stealth. So with 7 missiles, that's going to be 35 away from your stealth. Um, well, the Cat 3 is stealth. The Battery 3 keeps you under longer. Okay, so that's considered cloaking. The Cat 3 is considered stealth. And now the stealth Cat 3 versus the D2S, the Cat 3 definitely. Now you do get some stealth from the Magnus drive as well. Not as much as the Cat 3, but close. But if you, like I said, with you have 4D2S armor on there, and you can get them retrofitted pretty good. I've got, like I said, I got mine up to R10. it'll help you out a great deal. Oh, next dredges are out. All right, let me get my other boats out. All right, dredge time, y'all. Is it 1.5% per downpour? Oh, and 2% per deluge. Are you sure about that, Hiram? Are you confident in that? And you need Cat 3 on the Reapers, huh? We saw that video earlier from, we saw a video earlier, bless you, son. We saw a video earlier of a guy in Reapers hitting the mothership during the event. And, man, he was kicking butt, man. It was pretty awesome to see. All right. Well, that's cool, Hiram. If you if you have the link handy, if you know where to look to get that link, I would very much appreciate it, Hiram. Maybe if you could send me a PM on Facebook, or even if you just want to drop it in the chat here. Either way, I'd be happy. I would definitely don't have a problem with your word or anything like that. But sometimes, you know, it's the source, you know. So. Strike 3, battery 3, cat 3. Well, you don't quite get the same kind of range, but let me come this way. You don't quite get the same kind of range. You get like a 96 versus 100 or something like that. It's close. It's really close. But sometimes those extra 4 can make a difference. You know, I think if I was to recommend a Nighthawk build for some people for the event, like we just had, you know, I know I used my Nighthawks a lot in those 47s, for example. That was a good grindable target that a lot of people took advantage of. Oh, I think yourself being one, if I'm not mistaken. Um, the If I was to recommend a build, I mean, the changes I would make to my current build would be speed system instead of just engine 3, and possibly assault torp Bs instead of the siege torp Zs. The siege torp Zs gives you a little bit more speed and they hit harder, but just that range seemed like it could make a potential big difference, you know. And maybe if you're somebody, you know, the reason I'm going with engines 3 and siege Zs on my Nighthawk fleet is just for base prepping purposes, and quite honestly, and just for base prepping purposes, quite honestly, and you know, so it just seems to me it probably would not be a bad idea for some people to have 2 Nighthawk fleets, one for the event and then one for base prepping. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's actually like 100.1 if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's actually 101, so it's pretty much just 100. Yeah, I did something like that once upon a time. I had the stealth attack system, I had speed system, and Nautilus battery, I think. Well, no, stealth attack system. No, Cat 3 is what I had, because the stealth attack system is then that kind of like a mixture or combination of the stealth attack system. Well, no, wait a second. I'm trying to remember what exact stealth attack system, speed system, and crap, I don't even freaking remember. I gave my wife the build though. I know she had it. Oops. I love the new frames for this stuff. I don't usually rave about their artwork at all, but I really do like the new frames for the blueprints and all the little windows and stuff like that that came out today. I really do. Thruster 3, huh? Yeah, I didn't do Magnus Drive. I think I did Speed System, Cat 3, and uh, Stealth Attack System is what I did. Stealth Attack System is what I did originally on mine. But like I said, I kind of changed things, so. Crap. Oh, there's my invisible boats again. Here I was waiting for them to show up, and they're already there. Hey, FC3S. Thoughts on the new retrofit pack? I actually started Kodiak already. Out of all of the retrofits, the Kodiak I think definitely has the best one. Um, Everything else is pretty minimal, just pretty much as I expected. The only reason I think the Kodiak is even a smidgen of a surprise is because it does get the armor abilities at 25% in R5, so that's what I think. Yeah, I'd never built any of the V2H or the V2C yet. I've got them. I just haven't gotten around to building them yet, man. I don't. It's kind of hard to have the time, man, unless you're, spend tons and tons of coin. Yes, it does. If you're, it's the third prize pack. The third prize pack, the eighth round is a Kraken. Yeah, mastery level, that's what they call it, the third prize pack. And the campaigns are like night and day between the first two and then the mastery. My night and day. I mean, it's like just a lot more difficulty, and then on top of that, you got 1 hour to do it. It's crazy talk, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Not to mention, I already built 2 freaking mastodons. That's the part that kills me the most. Is I just freaking finished building them. Just finished. Bam. Hmm. Battle Vortex is now streaming. If y'all want to watch World of Warcraft, Fear just fired up on Battle Vortex. Twitch TV/Battle Vortex. He just went live. Alright. Let's hunt for some more. Dredges. Yeah, I had never played World of Warcraft either, man. You know, I gotta tell you, my opinion of World of Warcraft is this. Um, I knew so many people that were like absolutely addicted, man. They were like the pale face, never go outside anymore types, you know what I mean? They're always locked up in their room on their Xbox, or not on their Xbox, but on their computer. And their whole social life is, you know, wearing a pair of headphones and talking to somebody about, you know, whatever. And that to me was always a turnoff, you know? And that to me was always a turnoff. But you know, being where we're at now, you know, they do have made a fortune off of $15 a month for 10, and the game is around 10 years later. So that kind of says a lot, in my opinion. It says a lot. Yeah, so I've actually always avoided that one. I just didn't like the idea of being addicted or playing with a bunch of addicts. But now look at me. Look at me now. Hey, take care, FC3S. Well, you see, they were pitching that one with the Siege Cannon Z, the SCX there, Joel. And I'm sure it's a great rush fleet, you know, if you don't mind Russian bases. But Russian bases are expensive, I'm just saying. Um, they are very expensive. I remember when strike cruisers came out. I mean, I did have a strike cruiser rush fleet. Of course, I have a few rush fleets over the years. You know, I had that, my Thresher fleet, and then of course my Hellstrike fleet were all rushes. Those are the three I've ever had. I remember when I built my Thresher fleet, man, I thought I was being smart and saving money by going with 2 hulls, and then they came out with the Javelin after that, and it really made me regret only having a 2-hull fleet. It made me wish I had a 3-hull fleet. Thought I was being slick, saving money and time. Kicks Eye said, nope, you weren't being smart at all. Take your lashes. Yeah, I seen the SCX came out with the that was price pack one, right? Was the SCX and the Siege Cannon Z and reflective coating one. I'm surprised they didn't put reflective coating 3 in, but I think they would have had to have a third price pack and not just a mastery level after that. So I'm really surprised they didn't go that route. But what do I know? What do I know? I know nothing. Everything I know is wrong. My chatters are leaving. I'm down to 17. Or 14, rather. Excuse me. Yeah, that surprised me too, because I hate to say the D55 right now is kind of crap, you know. I mean, let's be honest. You know, when you've got the Siege Missile Z out, I mean, and they're going to put the D55F in there, it's like, come on, man. I mean, you know, they should have put the newer Siege Missile in, but I'm nobody. I gotta tell you, man, I really like having that Nash's Lightning Carrier all the way up there at the top. I really like that. Beer. Beer. Got a long way to go. Well, you know, I just like that it's like always spinning and you know, I was actually when I was watching my stream back, I was actually able to see how bad the packet loss was, the frame loss rather was. You know, basically if it ever stopped spinning, I was dropping frames. So it was just made it a lot easier for me to see when I was dropping frames. So, you know, technically wise, it served a purpose. And I'm actually, let me see, am I doing good? No, I mean, I've dropped 403 frames so far tonight on here, but I've been recording for almost 2.5 hours, so that's not bad. Yeah, I do got to hide my stuff on here too, man. Freaking people, man, be trying to sizing me up all the time, man, and wanting to come get some. If it weren't for these stupid towers, man, you wouldn't know where I was at. And that's kind of what I was going for. It's the whole reason why my banner is all the way up there at the tippy top. Because I actually thought about right here on my little frame, right here where it says blueprints, right here. I thought about just making it say price is wrong right there, but I'm like, you know what? I need something to cover up the coordinates at the top of the screen. So that's what I ended up doing. Yeah. And one revolution, so you know, is 36 frames. One revolution is 36 frames. And so, yeah, it is kind of a frame counter almost. So, yeah, it's pretty useful. More useful than I had originally anticipated. Haha. Yeah. I did trim a little of the gray off the beard today. I did get a little bit off. Seems like it's starting to grow a little deeper down, man. I used to be just the very tip top was gray, and if I trimmed the gray off, then I was able to have a majority dark beard. But it's like now it seems like it's getting closer to 50-50. But I guess that's life, man. I guess that's life. See if I can go find another one. All right, this is a 52, so it's going to look a little different, which is fine. Ah, I know you're invisible. I just don't. There he is. I was looking for the line because I knew I wasn't going to see the boat. It seems like right now you come out of the towers and it's like forget what your boat looks like, so it doesn't show it to you anymore. Yeah, sometimes that's easier, man. The only reason I growing up, man, or getting older, when I was in my 20s, I couldn't have any facial hair, man. It's like it was just always so spotty, and it just never looked good. And I think it's really unfair that by the time I'm able to actually grow facial hair and have it look like a real beard or a real mustache, that it's freaking polluted with gray. It drives me nuts. I'm like, it's just really unfair, man. Really, I didn't do anything to deserve this. I'm a nice guy, you know. But the main reason, well, I've always wanted to be able to grow a beard and mustache and all that stuff, like I said. But growing up, it was always really tough. And like I said, I finally able to do it. And but it's like, I got a secondary reason for doing it too, and that's just that I put on a couple of pounds, and it just seems like um, all of a sudden the lining of your face starts to disappear, it starts to fade. And so I just figured a beard and a mustache, well, a beard anyway, kind of helps get your put some definition back on your face, get a little bit of definition there. Yeah, yeah. Well, nobody deserves. The thing is, it's like, this the way I've always viewed this game. I mean, I know a lot of people see it as a war game, and I guess I sort of kind of get it. But, I think it should all. I look at it as a puzzle game. You know what I'm saying? I've always looked at it as a puzzle game, but it's like, I don't see the what there is to gloat about beating a puzzle that's not finished. If there's a puzzle that you're trying out and it's not done, um, then what's the point? But then on the flip side, what the heck business is it? Why is Kixeye making it so that it takes you months to get your puzzle developed? I mean, many, 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 many months. I mean, 10 days for a defense platform upgrade, and then 3 weeks for turrets is insane, man. It's like the silliest thing in the world. I just can't believe that they do stuff like that and make money. I can't believe they do stuff like that and make money. I mean, if I was a filthy coiner and I coined those kind of things, man, I would just be like, I would have drew the line a long time ago. Long time ago, I would have drawn the line. Um, I really don't get my dredges stolen anymore. I mean, I had somebody pop in one as a joke one time, and I think I might have had, I've had probably one or two stolen, like, and forever. Um, but it's like, I won't spend any coin on dredges. So it doesn't tick me off, quite honestly. If somebody wants to come and steal my dredge, okay, I do see it. Yeah, it's not cool, but I won't spend any coin on it, so it's no coin out of my pocket. It's only ticks me off if I feel like somebody's dipping their hand in my pocket. Other than that, it's just a game, you know. I don't like that Kixeye makes it so easy for strangers to have access to your pockets. I don't like that. I think that's freaking retarded. Kixeye should not be creating an environment that where you're so easily robbed. But they do it. All right, 50s are all gone. They freaking do it. You're coming to steal them? Hiram. No, I don't get dredges stolen very often. I Not very often. Most people know me, so it's like, usually if they decide to do it or not do it, it's usually based on who I am. I mean, it's very rare, you know. I think I had somebody steal one from me one time, and he didn't know who I was, and he just felt that I didn't have any privileges to any dredges in his sector because I wasn't in his sector. I thought that was retarded as all get out. And of course, he was a farm. Yeah, yeah. I don't like that Kickside does. They make it so easy for people to have access to other people's. you know, coin that they spend on the game. But Kixeye sees it as once you actually buy the time and you have the gold on your account, they don't see it as money anymore. They just don't see it that way, and I don't know how they don't see it that way. Yeah, and Leaks, you're right. The raid this time around was not very newbie friendly, and I agree with you 100%. I think that's something else that they screwed up this raid because, well, they took the co-ops away from everybody under level 60. That was crap. And then the 60 and up co-op was screwed up, so it might as well not have been there either. So the whole co-op thing this time around was, you know, but a lot of people didn't realize that the water targets were primarily co-op too, and you know, you just got to remember Leaks when you're whenever you're out and you're whenever you're out, and well, if you see somebody hitting a target on the water and it's glowing yellow, that means it's co-op and there's room in there for more. If it's red, that means either it's not co-op, or if it is co-op, there's not room for any more players. So yellow and red, you'll recognize. Let me see if I can find anybody. See, it's like all of these cargoes here are glowing red. That means it's not co-op and you can't go in. And see if I can find any yellow. Okay, that Dredges is red. It's not co-op. Doesn't look like anybody's doing any kind of campaigns at the moment. I thought for sure people would have been all over that. But yeah, well, they're bringing a lot of Hiram. I know that a lot of people think that there's people just leaving in droves, and there may be. But the people are also coming in droves, and a lot of people don't realize that. I don't know how many of those new people are sticking around. I'm going to go grab another beer, so give me just a second. I don't know how many of those new people are sticking around, but I mean they're there. I mean, because every time I ask Kixeye about it, they're always like, well, the number of players we have has been pretty flat for X amount of years. They seem to always say that, and I mean I don't have any reason to doubt them, other than their Kixeye, but I guess to some that might be good enough, but they do have skin in the game. You know what I mean? So that could be. They do have skin in the game, so that could be motivation enough to be less than truthful. If they told you that the game was dying and people were leaving it in droves and the participation is dropping dramatically. Now, I think the reason right now they know it's dramatically, but they're able to spin it. They're able to spin that it's dropping dramatically right now. Basically, they're in reputation. They're in damage control. Their reputation is in really bad shape, and they're trying to rescue that. All because of battle pirates, I think. Did they take the co-op away? Well, that sucks. Well, Guggen, I think that Kixeye, I know Kixeye has lied to us, but you kind of got to think of, I mean, if they, I don't know, you kind of just got to get to know the monster you're dealing with, and when it makes sense for them to be less than truthful, you got to think about motivation. Is it if they could either say that it's none of your business, or they can tell you a lie if they think that they're going to have a more favorable outcome. They're not going to incriminate themselves or bring themselves down intentionally. They're not going to do that. So they're either going to withhold information or they're going to lie. I think most likely it'd probably be best reputation-wise to just withhold, but information. But anyway, what do I know? Well, Guggen, I do believe Well, yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, I'm not going to be put in a position where I need to worry about my credibility. Okay, you can either accept what I say is sincere. I'm not trying to BS you, so don't spin it around on me and make me the bad guy for having a conversation with you. If you don't want to have the conversation, we can just stop right now. Okay, because the conversation is not about me. Okay, so don't be price pleasing me. I don't want none of that. Forget it. Okay, and conversation is not about me. But anyway, as far as build times and all that stuff, I am actually expecting. Okay, I don't know. I don't have any source. I don't have, any kind of like little birdies or anything like that, or grapevines or nothing. But I am expecting to see probably something in the next month or two regarding. I don't know if it's going to be build times, repair times, or both. I have no clue. Yeah, I mean, my worst, Guggen, in all honesty, my worst offense at this point has been being extremely naive. And it's possible that I could be being naive here. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. And try to cover up. Because I mean, I do try to be a little bit more positive than most of the Battle Park community, as it would seem. Most of the Battle Park community seems to always really expect the worst and be very negative, and I just prefer not to be that way. I try to be a little bit more positive, and uh, you know, so forgive me for that. That's just something you're going to have to overlook because I'm not changing. You know what I mean? So I try to be a little bit more positive, and you can be negative all you want, but don't bring your negativity to me because I don't want nothing to do with it. But no, it's just the fact that they have taken so much effort. They wouldn't fix that one repair glitch. Then they turn around this base tag and repair glitch that came out. And like I was talking about being naive earlier, I had no idea so many people were using that particular cheat that it had the impact that it did in the game. Just blew my mind. Okay, when Big Ben told me that 60% of the community he felt might have used it, I'm like, well, maybe 60% of the top 10%, the little area of people that but I did not believe, because I'm thinking about all of these 40s and 50s and the thousands and thousands of Battle Park players out there. But then, I mean, the game, it was like almost like it was just a piece of the game just completely shut down. I mean, it's just I was quite honestly, I was blown away, and I was embarrassed how naive I was and all that. But um, doesn't mean I'm going to change. I'm not going to be one of those guys that thinks everybody on the board is cheating. I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt first, unless I see something that is overly suspicious or obvious that they're cheating. Like a level 8 player with Hellstrike or Hellhounds or whatnot. Elite, all elite fleets, that kind of thing. Obviously, I'm going to know that guy's a hacker, and but anyway, I really feel like Kixeye is in damage control right now, and um, you know, they realize how bad things are, and people are I mean, guys like me, for example. I mean, it's like like I said, I would complain to them every month when every a new hull came out. I'd be like, okay, this is how much it's going to cost me to win this hull. Now, once I win this hull, this is how much it's going to cost me to build it. And then once I build this fleet, it's going to take me either this much time or this much coin, okay? And then I'm going to want to use it. And then if I use it, it's going to take me this long to repair, or it's going to cost me this much coin to take it out again. I'm like, you know, who's your audience? Who are you, building the game for? It was pretty obvious, right? And but I just try to speak to them like in money, because they don't seem to recognize that that gold up there is money, and um, they don't seem to recognize that that is actually money. So I mean, I would talk to them like it was money. I'm like, this is actual money here, okay? I have a very limited supply of this, and I'm not going to keep replenishing this, at the rate that you're expecting me to pour it into the game and be rid of it. I'm like, you're basically upping the price, and that's real money. I'd have to talk to them about money. So anyway, I did that. Yes, damage control, reputation control, well, reputation, trying to repair their reputation, that kind of thing. Because let's face it, their reputation is not the best in the business right now. Not even among their own players. I've never seen anybody post a positive, any, well, I've very rarely ever seen anybody make anything a positive, uh, a review of Kixeye. I mean, I'm probably about the most positive person you're going to get to make a review about Kixeye. But so I do think something's going to change soon. I really do. I feel like something's going to change soon just because they've done fixed two glitch repairs during the event. People found another way to use that last glitch, and they end up it was exploiting the friend viewer bar down on Facebook. They got rid of it. Okay, so they're tired. They know people are cheating rampantly, and they're tired of it, and they're trying to fix it. Okay, they're trying to collect real data. I mean, these are just obvious moves to me, and I'm not even like a real high-end business person. I did take some business classes, but they're making positive movements, and to getting good data to figure out how to move forward, and it seems like they're already. I've heard people say that they've reduced some build times already on something. I don't know what. I think it was a Hellhound or something, and that has been reduced in build time. So I think they're hearing us. I really do. I think they're hearing us. Yeah. Well, I think when people tell Kixeye that this is the most expensive game on the internet and it's credible, you know what I mean? That's got to say something. I mean, that's got to at least make you look at yourself and reflect and just like, wow, maybe we are. I mean, is there another game that costs anywhere near what Battle Pirates costs to play, on a monthly basis? I'm curious if anybody knows of one. I'm curious. Battle Pirates has gotten to be freaking ridiculous. Freaking ridiculous. Let me see here. I got to open up another window because I got somebody wanting to chat with me. Whoa, hey, oh. Oh, is it really? I never even heard of that one. Age of Warring Empires. Hey, Ron Rob. Wow, man. These are games to stay away from. I'll tell you what, if ever I play another game, I'm going to probably try to investigate then what it's going to cost me to play at a high-end level. You know what I mean? Because I got to tell you, if 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 I get to a certain point and I can no longer be competitive because I'm not spending enough money, then it's not going to be the game for me. This is going to be the last game that I played that's like this. Last game. I'll tell you that right now. Well, let's see here. I yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see if they ever fix this glitch here or the issue with the I'm still at 30 and 15 on the Reavers and the Command Reavers, Elite Reavers and Command Reavers, which I was before the event started, so they still haven't fixed that. Still not fixed that. They got to get on the ball, man. You guys are slacking over there. Well, only thing I got to say about World of Warships, Joel, is I mean, I think we've all kind of learned and fell in love with naval combat. And in that game, you're going to be one person driving around a boat. You're pretty much going to be, um, it's going to be real time strategy, but it's going to be first person shooter too, right? I mean, from the previews that I've seen, the game looked pretty amazing, and it's going to be nice that people are pretty much going to be forced to work as a team. So anybody who's into teamwork and that kind of thing, it's going to be really, really nice for them. Hey, I'm going to be right back again. I need another restroom break. I'll be right back. Boo, I'm back. But anyway, next Dredges are a long freaking ways away. A long, long ways. Um, Not much I can do with them. So I might actually be done for the night now. Now I'm thinking about it. I can go out and rank some boats, but that's about it. Harem, you have a good night, buddy. Yeah, I got to be up early too. I have not been told. As a matter of fact, let me check my work email. They had me work from home today, and we have all that snow and ice, and I'm kind of curious if they're going to have us work from home again tomorrow. Um, I see nothing telling me to work from home tomorrow, so I may very well be going in. Darn it. Yeah. Well, looks like I'm going in tomorrow, but it's cool. I need to go in, man. I've been home a long time. I haven't been in the office since Thursday. Yeah, I had a snow day today. My snow days, it's like I need to be available. I actually had to drive into the office yesterday, even though I was off, just to recover my laptop, so that I had it available to me today, so that I could work from home today. And now I go on call on Friday, so when I go on call on Friday, I'll work from home for the whole week. But anyway, Hiram, you have a good one. Altair, Altair, still streaming, yes. Did I say it right, son? Altair? He said I said it right. Altair. Yeah, it does. It looks pretty amazing. World of Warships looks pretty freaking amazing. I don't know that I really am a big fan of people calling it WoW, though. I wish people wouldn't call it WoW. I wish people would call it something else. Well, let me see. I'm just really curious here. Well, let me see here. I think I've got my build. This is my Hellstrike build right here. And somebody really pointed something out to me that I thought, dang, I wish I would have known that before, thought of that before. But let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Dun, dun, dun. Because they actually recommended some changes that were pretty awesome changes. And give me just a second. I'm going to pull up the recommendation. Alright, it's going to be a bit heavier, but that's okay. Now, obviously I'm not going to refit my whole hull, but I could probably make some changes here. So let's see here. If I clear off a couple of these slots, hold on a second, yo. And I make these other ones like so. Ugh. I think this is about all the changes I want to make. He actually had I had a couple of Reaver bulkheads go on. Let me just compare real quick. That's 21, that's 6. Man, that's a big difference. I almost feel like I should keep it where it was at. Why is the difference so big? 4296, 4296. Radioactive damage, 6488. Never mind. Maybe I just stick with what I was doing. I don't have the blaze thrower yet, so I'm not going to put that on. But I may just go ahead and just keep the rest of it the same. D5Es, a couple of CP4s, the strike system, heavy plating, that kind of thing on there. I think I might just stick with this right here for the rest of it. Alright, well let me just go ahead and make this sucker an elite then. Alright, so on this one right here, I'll change that rank all the way to legendary. And that gets all the way down to 8 seconds. This is still 6 seconds. Building is 4.2. Building on this is 4 seconds. So this is faster at legendary on buildings. So we got to be very specific. But it just seems like there's not that much of a difference to really... I mean, because this one right here, if I make this one right here legendary, this is 4, 3, and 3. I think I'm just going to stick with what I was doing. I hate to say, I think I'm going to do that. Hey, Carlos. Oh, ship DPS. Okay. Ship DPS on that is ship DPS is 3559. Let's go over here. Ship DPS. Oh, okay. So the other one does have a higher DPS, but I don't know that it's really enough. Let me go back down to 3 stars in this one. I go to 3 stars on this one. Alright, so ship DPS here is 2445. 2455. Ship DPS on this one. Yeah, it's way, way behind. I still think I want to stick with my ends. I just think I'm so far away from legendary that, gosh, man. I think I'm so far away from legendary that I think I ought to just stay the course. Yeah, you can post your SCX build. But yeah. Well, it just seems like I got a long way to go before I make that transition. And I guess if ever I want to squeeze that extra little performance out once I get the rank up there, then maybe I'll make the transition if I feel like it's financially viable at the time. But right now, I really feel like this is it, and I really have no guarantee of the future, so I think I'm going to stick with this for now. That's what I think. I think I'm going to stick with this for now. All right, so you got the new Strike Cruiser X. You're going to retrofit it, I'm sure, at some point. What is that? D33P. Is it kind of like, is that like a little pew pew gun? Is that what the P's for? Pew? Pew pew? Well, the strike missile, okay, the difference between the strike missile and the siege missile is the siege missile has a higher DPS when you compare, gun to gun, obviously. But when you compare, when you throw add the weight factor in, then the strikes are better right off the gate. Strikes are better right off the gate, and it's just if you have like available weapon slots, you could potentially make a strike missile fleet hurt a lot more than a siege missile fleet. Given the weapon slots, just because of the weight and all that stuff. It's just when you factor in the weight is really important when you want to compare those two. Well, Joel, you seeing Altair's advice? He's saying change the siege cannons to chain guns. Oh, Justice, I bet that would have been great to see though. Our 10 Kudas prepping out a guard. That would have been awesome, awesome to see. Now, I actually have gotten into somebody's base one time. There was one time when I was still in 386, and this was when Strike Cruisers first came out. Not Strike Cruiser X, but the original Strike Cruiser. When it first came out, we had a guy in our sector who just thought he was the best thing that ever happened to Battle Pirates. And he was bragging about how awesome his base was. And when I got turned around and I got all the way inside with my Kudas, and this was back then, okay, Kudas were still fairly young. I got all the way into his base with my Kudas, and man, he just clammed right up about how awesome his base was. That was a long time ago. He just had a really short channel. Yeah, I don't know about L's. I think B's, the B's would be better, and I only say the B's because of they have that missile bypass, their penetrative bypass. Um, so there it's kind of got a hidden factor there. But I actually did do a chart. This is my own chart, like in I got like a little graphing notebook here, okay, and I did a chart for myself, and I need to actually put it down in an Excel spreadsheet and share it. But if I do that, then I got to do it for all the weapons. That's the only reason I haven't done it yet. But the Strike L DPS on that is 35.2, and if you factor in the weight, it goes down to 29.3. The B is actually 23, so it's quite a bit less, but it has more range. The range on the Strike B has the longest range of all the strike missiles. The L is 68 and the B is 72. And so the highest of all of the strike missile DPS is actually the N, but it also has the shortest range, which is a 65. And quite honestly, even the A, though, even the A has the highest DPS, which is 29.5, and it's the same range as the L. Um, Now, it actually has a lower damage value, but its accuracy is much higher, which brings the TPS just a smidge above the L. But people, when they did the Ls, I mean, they were really only thinking about, back in the day, is I need something to flag diversion, is what they were thinking about. All right, Nighthawk fleet. Bam. You got the Assault Torp Bs on there. D2S. You put the Unstable Core 3. I know, we there's been a lot of talk about like that new one, the what's it called? The not the Unstable Core, but there's the one that just came out in the event. I can't remember what the heck it's called. But anyway, that one there goes up to like 30,000 on the death weapon thingy. For subs, you definitely want to stick with Unstable Core for subs, definitely. I mean, I actually like this. I like this build. It's a good build. I know I use the Siege Torps on mine because they obviously you're doing this for combat speed, and I'm assuming you don't have the D63B Assault Torp Bs, because Assault Torp Bs has the extra combat speed buff, and it has the range buff like the D63R has. So the D63B is basically putting all of the good stuff of all the assault torpedoes together into one. So because you're doing V, I'm assuming you don't have the B, the Bravo. I am using Siege Torps, which does have a little bit more, but you're sacrificing 2 on the range. My range is only 71. Now, if you're prepping out bases, I think the Siege Torps are the way to go. You actually have a pretty nice build there. If you were going to use it for Reavers, the engine actually might not be a bad idea. I was going to suggest speed system, because you can turn and all that stuff a lot better. But being that you're probably going to die at some point with these ones right here and the Reavers, it might not be a bad idea to have a little boom at the end to maybe save the other subs. So that might not be a bad idea. So it's a pretty nice build. But the Assault Torp Bs have better range, so it'll probably help you have better luck as far as being seen and altogether. Oh, you're curious why I don't have Unstable Core on my fleet? I just never got into that whole thing. I probably should have put it on there at some point, but let me just build mine on here real quick, okay? And just let me see. I got the Siege B. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I don't. No. Take that off there. That's Assault Torp B, right? I got the Siege Torp Z right here. That's what I got. Oh, there you go, right there. There's a weight issue. There's a weight problem right there. Now if I go and put engines on there, bam. So that's why I don't have it, because of the weight. Now if you went Assault Torps, Assault Torp B on there, bam. Now I don't know what the damage these things do when they blow up, but I'm sure it's got to be better than the other one, the Infernal Core. All right, I got Joel's MCX fleet here, so let me see if I can put that on. All right, Siege Missile Z, awesome. Let's see here. What was that? That was my work laptop. Let me just take a peek at it. I'm only curious is because I'm kind of hoping that we might hear something about me not having to go into the office in the morning, but just I'm sure there's going to be ice all over the roads in the morning. Just from all the melting snow and stuff we had today. Yeah, and I do agree with Guggen. That extra explosion would come in handy. I mean, if it could potentially save the rest of your boats by exploding, and if it blew up, I mean, you could use that for killing, for prep. Quite honestly, I think the explosion would definitely come in really really handy. So maybe if I were to suggest a build, maybe it would be assault torp Bs and the the unstable core and the Cat 3 and the Nautilus battery 3, and then I'll do 2S armor and then I'll assault torp Bs. I kind of like that idea. I really like that build. That'd be a good Reaver fleet, or even fleet versus fleet. I think it'd be good. But anyway, back to the missile MCX fleet here. Now this one right here, I got to tell you, I really think. Okay, you got Dock 10. You haven't got Dock 11 yet? Because I really do think that you could put 3 of those siege missiles on there per boat. Let me see here. Well, that made it quite a bit heavier, didn't it? That added like 1,100 tons, so I could probably do that a couple more times. Yeah, that's about all I could do right there. So I'm just saying you could get like 3 more siege missiles in that fleet if you wanted to. Of course, you could also go a different route too and just beef up the armor instead. Okay. You could go the other route and just beef up that armor instead if you had D5E. Just to get your evade up even a little bit higher because it was only at 34 something or other. 6,000, so copy, copy, copy. I don't know what that cap in here. Something here is funny. Dang it. Did the armor was it only the armor made that much difference? I guess it was. Let me see. Let's go back. Copy, 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 copy. Oh, okay. I see what happened. We went back down to Dock 10. I guess you don't have Dock 11, Joel. Oh, let me see. Altair. Did you give me another one? Yeah, you did. Wow, man, we're like flying through some builds on here, man. People like reviewing builds, don't they? We could probably do a show with just builds. You know what I mean? And just review builds for like hours. Just like make a day of it, you know? And I'm sure we could make a day of it, is because there is a lot of people wanting to review builds. I could just pull up my PMs and start pulling out builds like all day long. I could pull just builds out of my PMs all day long. People are always sending me builds, always. But overall, um, Joel, I mean, with your MCX fleet as it is, it's not horrible. But if you can get up to Dock 11, you might be able to put like 3 more siege missiles in there if you wanted to. Something else you might want to consider, like I said, is actually upgrading the armor. Let's see, D5E. Let's see. Now, let's see if I can copy this now. Let's see here. Copy, 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 copy. There we go. So now, because these days, man, these bases, they hit really, really hard, Joel. And an extra 1,000 or a couple of thousand armor points can really, really come in handy for you. I'm just saying. They could really come in handy. And not to mention, if you went through the D5E, it actually gives you better evade too. So you're at 41% now. So it's just something to think about. So you could either go that end or you could go the extra siege missile end, either way. And actually doing it this way right here with the all the upgraded, you still got room in here for another siege missile. So, I mean, you could still put one more in there is all I'm saying. So there it is. It's just a thought. All right, so that was Jaws. Looks like Altair came out with a V2H build. All right, Altair. And I really like that he puts the whole thing in there, not just the code. All right. All right, see, this right here is just a sweet, sweet fleet too. I mean, you're definitely sacrificing on the armor a bit, so I'm guessing that means you're not planning on using this in bases. Um, your evade is really awesome. 60.8% is pretty good, and but your other stuff could be a little bit higher, and your armor points are a little low. So I'm guessing you're not planning on hitting bases with this. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't hit bases, because you can probably still find bases sucky enough that this will work. Mine might even be one of them. I mean, I really don't know. But you know, I'm just saying, if you went like D5, obviously you get a lot more armor. Plus, it has this right here has 7.5, and if you went with the D5E on there, it gets 10. So it's like an extra 2.5% evade on each armor. So I'm just saying it would take your evade up even higher. You know, and then maybe instead of this right here, you could put like a Fallout armor or something on there to get some of the other stuff up higher. You know, something to think about. But I don't know, man. These siege missiles definitely make it sound like you want to kill bases, but I don't know, man. If you're not going to kill bases, you might be better off with just an assault missile, but because the damage on this right here is 1088 and the reload is 2.6. Well, that sounds like it's got some rank or something retrofitted. Let me look at my retro menu here. Dun, dun, dun. Everything is 0. All right. Well, for some reason it's saying that the reload on here is 2.6. I don't remember it being that good. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of, if you're going to use it for killing for fleet versus fleet, you might be better off with assault missiles. But I don't know. What do I know? All right, a bit of bases maybe. Okay, let's see here. GDaddy D had one. Okay, let me see. Altair had another one right here. Let me look at this. Would you believe I got to go to the bathroom again? Would you believe that? All right, you. How come there's nothing in here? Oh, that's because I got 2 exclamation points. Hold on a second. All right, so one boat. Oh, it's the same boat, isn't it? That's the same one. Yeah, if you were going to switch, I'm just curious. Just the standard DPS, you don't care about this building DPS at all if you're going to be jumping boats. And I know the DPS on the siege missile is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but their extra range that you get for the assault missile Z, you might. It's got radioactive damage and all that on it too. You might actually prefer that. Let me see, because the accuracy on this is 70. Let me look at the assault missile Z real quick. Okay, so this right here has got a better reload. The damage, okay, is only 230. The accuracy is 75, so it's not that much better. 1088. Okay, so it doesn't have the damage. But it doesn't have the, well, that's 600 tons, and that's 600 tons. That don't sound right. Something here is not right. I could have swore that was like 1,000 tons. The Siege C. D55Z, I could swear was 1,000. Something doesn't sound right. It says weight here is 1,000, but it comes with armor. Hold on a second. Maybe that's what I was looking at was armor. Yeah. See, weight here is 1,000. The weight here is 600. So you could put more of these on. I think if you figured out the DPS per weight, it might, you know, sounds like that's what I need to do to figure out, you know, which would be better. But I'll let you do it, seeing as how it's your build, and then ultimately your choice. So, all right, GDaddy D. GDaddy D. Bam. All right, give me just a second. I'm going to step away again, and I'll be right back. Boo. I'm back. All right. All right, let me just go ahead and scroll down just to see where we're at in the chat here. All right, so GDaddy D just put this in. Man, look at all these other builds that are in here. Holy crap, guys. All right. Well, this is GDaddy D's. I know that, and he's got blaze towers on here, and I guess you're looking for this to be an instant repair boat. And I'm assuming because you will Steel 1 means that you don't have an officer on your dock, a repair officer. Because if you have a repair officer on your dock, you can go with Steel 2. The armor points will go up to 660, but that's reduced by 10%, so it'll drop it down 66, which would put it back underneath 600. So, so if you have an officer, Steel 2. Now, granted, I know that's you know, it's not an incredible amount of time. You know, maybe you'll get lucky and get an extra volley out. I really don't know, but yeah, the blaze towers I think is a really great idea because it's got really good range at 80 on there, and you know, and speed wise, 28.7 is pretty good, pretty good. Um, and you got 33 evade or 40 evade, 33% across the board, and everything else. So. But that's all I got for this one right here. Is if you got a repair officer, Steel 2. There's a little bit extra. If you put Steel 2 on there, it'll go up to 660. That's about it. So, you know, maybe it'll help you get an extra volley out. I really don't know. But I know it's not really a huge difference, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, man, I got to scroll all the way back up, man, to see what else we got up here. Man, you guys like are build, post, and fools on up on here, man. I see. I'm not going to skip over Captain now. I got to take care of Captain. 12. All right. Let's do Captain 12. And this is an anti-subfleet, you say. I mean, you guys have probably been talking about this. You guys are probably all so much faster than I am on this. Oh well, the assault torp. Does this slot have to be? Okay, it's a combo, so it can be either or. And the only thing that I would say about it, quite honestly, is that obviously you don't have a whole heck of a lot of armor. Your evade 52% is okay, but it could be better. Okay, so if you got some evade armor, you know, any more armor you put in these slots would be a plus. Okay, so if you went with some evade armor, I know this stuff right here gives you extra sonar, but the thing is, you know, like if you went up against my Nighthawks, for example, you'd be really depending on your thermal imaging, which is 68, and I can outrange that. My torpedoes are 71. I can skim just outside of your range, and you won't see me. Okay, and if you do see me, it'll just be a glimpse just for a minute. And your torrent missiles here have a range. Well, let me see. These here have a range of 75. So if you do manage to see me, you probably will get a shot in with your torps at least. You have 62 here. And let me see here. 62, and this right here gives you an extra 25%. So let me just pull up that calculator real quick. Opening up my calculator app. Give me just a second. Calculator. All right, so that was 62 and 25%. That'll take you up to about 77.5. So yeah, I guess you'd get some shots in maybe if you saw me. But that would definitely be the challenge of seeing me. And so I'm just saying I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really sold that this D3P is going to do you a whole lot of good. I think you'd be better off with some evade armor, quite honestly, if you're going to go out sub hunting. I think your evade armor would come in really, really handy for you. And these here have concussive built into it, 40%. And there's no other way to add any kind of concussive defense, so this might be a good fleet. It could be a good fleet. So you got sonic targeting, so that's for extra sonar too. So you got extra sonar there. I think this boat has the sonar built into it. Oh, I see right here it says you got your sonar up to 82, but I know like Reapers, for example, if it's an R10 Reaper with D2S armor and all that, they can actually reduce their footprint by 99%. Okay, so I'm just saying that they can definitely make your sonar irrelevant. So that's what I got for you, Captain 12. I think you'd be better off with some evade armor and not depend on your sonar so much. I mean, you're putting a lot of stock into it. And I think that's about it. That's all I got. Oh, and wait a second. The laser, you don't even need the laser on there because the V2H has a retargeting built into it. And it has retargeting built into it, which is all you need for killing subs. You don't actually need the laser. Okay, so it's just something to think about there too. So you don't need that special T5E. What's another special you could put on there? Personally, I think if you went with Solid Fuel Booster 3, you'd get you a little bit more range on your missiles, and then you could put like engines on there or something like that, and to help you get a little bit more speed. But you know what I mean? So you could actually take that. Okay, let's take that off. We'll just put Solid Fuel Boosters right there, and we'll put engines right there. And you could put engines to get more speed, or you could even go with speed system, either one. Speed system would give you better accuracy and also increase your evade if you want speed system. And then see, if we want speed system, it wouldn't give you more combat speed, but would increase your evade, but it also lower your accuracy. So it's kind of one of those things. But if you're chasing subs around, you might actually appreciate the turn speed. And then here, like I said, you'd probably prefer to have. I know I'm doing D5E, and it has a lot more evade on there, and I don't know if you have D5E, but even if you want D4E or any kind of evade armor would be better than what you currently were using. And there you have it. Oh, and something else. If you've got, instead of Guidance Scrambler, you might actually prefer Agility System because it has slow resistance and pinch resistance built into it. If you're going to hunt down subs, if they got a pinch, they're going to try to use it. So it would definitely help you out a lot to have some kind of pinch resistance. This right here would be a much more effective sub hunter than what you currently had. Captain 12, you got that, bud? Man, you guys are just like talking to yourselves now. You probably ain't even talking to me anymore. Captain 12, this is for you, man. Right here. This is for you. All right. Oh, wow. Man, you guys, I need to, let's see how. I got 33 more minutes. All right. There's like so many builds, guys. How do I do this, man? I mean, there's like so many builds up in here that I haven't done yet. You guys are like just going a million miles an hour talking about builds. And I'm way behind. All right, so Guggen. This is built currently for drac bases and weeklies. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh, okay, so it's a V2H fleet. Let me check my laptop again. All right. All right, so this was Guggen's for Sound Like Chores, for Battle Pirate Chores. And again, you know, it's really the same advice that I would, you know, I would definitely encourage you to look into maybe using the strike. You know, I mean, this right here could be pretty good. Your evade is at 64.9, which is also really good. Your armor points are built low, but you know when you're hitting Drax and Forsaken missions, or they're doing Forsaken missions, you really don't need a ton of armor for that, and you don't need to be worried about being pinched. I think, quite honestly, I think for the most part, this is a really good build. I mean, your combat speed is 24, which is really good because it'll help you outrun mortars in the 65s, and I think this is an awesome build. I bet you this one right here does your Forsaken missions easily. Easily, I bet it does them. Yeah, so Guggen, this is solid, bud. Solid. Get a thumbs up from me. Let me scroll up again. Okay, so there's Guggen, Darth Davids. I'm trying not really hard not to miss anybody. So I know you guys are flying right along, and there's probably about 15 more below where I'm at. But so this is Darth David's build right here. So let me put this on here. I don't want to miss anybody. Now, I see he's got assault missiles on his. He's using the assault missile R. But with the assault missile R, you know, I know really you start just kind of favoring the extra bonus damage type, really, with the different assault missiles, because I actually, on my MCXs, I have the 3 different kinds. You know, there was the missile, ballistic, and penetrative bonus damage. Aside from that, they were identical. All right. Aside from that, they're identical, but you know, I bet you this extra reload might be from the hull, and I don't know why I didn't even think about that. That's probably where all this extra reload's coming from. I bet you it's coming from the hull. But and then the assault torque Bs, you got that on there. That's really nice. And you're using speed system. If I were to recommend any changes at all, it would be agility, because I'm assuming, excuse me, that you're using this for fleet versus fleet. I apologize. You know, I'm drinking beer, so it does funny things to me. And I'm assuming you're considering using this for fleet versus fleet, and you should have room in there for, you got room in there for a 4th boat if you need it also. And being that you're using this for fleet versus fleet, I mean, if you did stuff like switch to D5E, obviously it would give you more armor points and increase your evade. If you switched from guidance scrambler to agility system, it would reduce your evade but give you pinch resistance. So, you know, and if you can get the assault missile Z, I would definitely recommend that, because like I said, with the other assault missiles, they're all kind of pretty much identical. And okay, now we've gone really, really heavy here. Well, yeah, we've gone really, really heavy, so I apologize for that. And maybe, is that a difference in weight? That's 600. Let me look at your other one, and that also weighs 600, so it's got to be the armor. That armor is 278, and that one there is 489. So it's got to be the armor is where the weight came from. So, you know, I don't know. So, I mean, if you want to do D5E, obviously it'd give you more evade and more armor points, but then you'd have to get rid of something else. And, yeah, I'd let you figure that out. The Assault Torp Bs have a weight of 220. This has a weight of 600, so. And let me just clear that slot. I just wanted to see. Okay, that's surface weapons only. Yeah, seems like the armor is probably the only way to go, really. Maybe, let's see if we can do D4Es on here. That brings the weight down a little bit, but not enough. Dang, what the heck else did I do? No, it's still just armor. Well, I definitely think I'm figuring out why you went with the build you went with. It's starting to make sense to me now. Well, you can at least put the Z's on there if you can get them. If you can get them, put them on there. So that will get your DPS up anyway. And if you can put the agility on there, oh, it fits. All right. So cool. That's all I got for that one. That was for Darth David's, and you said it was for fleet versus fleet and for subs. And cool. Let's scroll back up, see where I was at. I'm doing a good job. I kept the other ones highlighted. I see Justice has one on here, and you said this is your V2H build. Okay, this is what you currently have. Okay, We'll go ahead and look at what you currently have real quick, and then we'll look at what you do have. All right, so currently you have. You got a little bit of a mix of armor on here, but this is good though. I mean, quite honestly, you managed to squeeze in 2 D5s, which is still better. It still ups your evade. You got some strike missiles and some countermeasures, and this is V2H. And I mean, you're definitely on the verge of hitting bases with this. You know what I mean? I say that just because I'm just looking at your armor points. Your evade is up really, really high. 69.8 is awesome. And your other numbers could be a little bit better. I mean, quite honestly, I think it could be a little bit better. But I see you got 56 ballistic, 40%. Well, that's not going to change. 28 explosive. I do think you could hit bases with this. Quite honestly. Of course, any of these, if you wanted to hit a base with them, I'm sure you could find one. Okay, there's really bad bases out there. Let me look at what you would refit this to. Let's pull that up real quick. All right, let's get some numbers over here. All right, 69.8. Well, your changes aren't like dramatic. Actually, I'm not even sure I see them. I'm not even sure I see them. But I know if you're just using this for hitting bases, it's probably fine. But if you go switch to plan on doing any kind of fleet versus fleet, you might want to consider agility system. I mean, your evade will suffer a little bit for it, but you know, as far as fighting, it sucks when you're pinched, you know. So it's just something to think about. Yes, ma'am. Please. If I can do it myself if you want. All right. All right. Let's see. Where were we? All right. So we're down here to Captain 12. All right. Did you post the same thing twice? It looks like you might have. Oh, yeah. You said you didn't mean to do it twice. All right. So Guggen is after this one. So this is Captain 12 again. All right. So here. Okay. I think we already reviewed this one, didn't we? This looks like your other one. I mean, I see you got like Torrent Missile 1s on there, but I'm assuming that's like the best you got. You know, and the Assault Torp V. I think we already went over this one for you. Um, Captain 12. Yeah, your combat speed could definitely be faster too. You know, I mean, if you went speed system, you wouldn't get any kind of combat speed out of it. You know, but if you went, I don't know if there's any kind of missiles that give you any kind of combat speed buff, but you know, yeah, this is not a great fleet. I think if you, like I said, your evade could be better. If you went with the engines and solid fuel booster 3, that kind of thing, um, I think we just did all this, if I'm not mistaken. So that's combat, that right there, and then we could go with engine, and then guidance scrambler. I'm sorry, agility system, and then let's just do D3 because I think that's what you have on here. So we'll just do D3. But that right there is already leaps and bounds better than what you had. And now you got room on here, like if you had better missiles. I guess that's Reaper. Dang, my wife is fast. Even if it was just twos. Oh, okay. Well, maybe. Anyway, you get what I'm saying, I hope. Captain 12. I'll be right back again. Let me. All right, next is Ron Robs. I'll go ahead and put that up on the screen, and I'm going to disappear for a second. I'll let y'all talk about this one. That's Ron Robs V2 fleet. I'll be right back. Hi, KK9255. All right, folks. Yeah, I'm back. I just had to do my nightly medication. All right, let's see here. I don't like having my work laptop plugged in because it's like always making noises, and they're not always helpful. Not always helpful. I really don't know what's up with them. So I have no clue what the heck was making that noise. None. Anyway, back to this build. I don't remember whose this is. Let me see. Blum, 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 blum. Do I not have it highlighted? Okay, I know I've seen Captain 12's. Ron Robs, did I see yours? This starts off with 7-0. This might be Ron Robs, actually, right here. Okay. Ron Rob, this is actually a good build. I really like this. I'm sure you can hit bases with this. I mean, just looking at it, you got 14,000 armor points. Your evade is at 73.3. You got good defenses. Out of all of the oh, that's a Frostburn there. Out of all of the V2Hs I've seen, this is probably my favorite so far. But, you know, it's for hitting bases, and I like hitting bases. I don't get to. I'm really mad about that I don't get to hit bases anymore. But, wait a second. It seems like I got a little bit of a weight issue here. Okay, there we go. Weight issue is resolved. So, yeah, Ron Rob, that's a solid fleet, man. I really like that. That's a really good fleet. All right. Well, yeah, I hear you, Joel, about bringing Archie back, and I feel bad for Archie sometimes, but I got to tell you, the only thing that bothers me when he comes on is that he tends to think it's the Archie show, and he tries to monopolize the show, and um, I may have to say something to him next time. Well, Guggen, this is your next one, and this was obviously a sub-killer. Obviously a sub-killer. Um, Now, the range on this is pretty good. I mean, this is your Poseidon depth charges is 64. There's nothing you can do to increase that anymore. Um, oh man, this is a smoking, and that range is cut in half. I see it's 64 here, but it's going to get cut down to 32 with the Reaver Scout engine. Okay, and and then you got all these speed upgrades. That is a smoking fast fleet. 43.5 is crazy fast. Crazy, crazy fast. But that's definitely a sub-killer fleet if ever I saw one. I mean, you do got some room on there for improvement. I mean, if you were able to put some D5Es on here, you could actually get your evade up a little bit higher if you wanted to. You know, not a lot, just a little bit. You could get it up a little bit higher. Let's see, what's my number? I know I got a number I'm targeting, and I thought I had it wrote down somewhere. What is the 5-boat number for a Dock 11? I don't remember. I don't remember what it is. So that might already be too much right there, but even if you switch these other ones down to D2E, you'd get better evade, you know. It's a little bit better. That's 44.6, that's 41.5, so just a thought. Just a thought. Kilted Pirate has one right here. All right, Kilted Pirate. Let's see what Kilted Pirates look like. Ooh, let's see. We got magma throwers on some nuke cruisers. And these are Greta's. I'm confused by this. I'm legitimately confused by this. And the only reason I say that is because I know that Greta has the random launch override where it throws out a cryo. You know, I don't know how that interacts with the magma. You know what I mean? I don't know how that interacts. Kilton, if ever you build this, you'll have to let me know how that worked out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks like it's a really strong fleet, quite honestly. for hitting bases. It would have to be a rush fleet. I'm worried that you don't have the armor points to support it as a rush fleet. Even though a lot of this numbers look really strong, I'm definitely worried that you don't have the armor that you would need for a rush fleet. And 16.5, you're probably going to have a hard time outrunning. So it's going to be a slow rush fleet. Now, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking it might not be that great. You know what I mean? It's just this weapon, the magma thrower. It's a short range weapon. There's no way to increase that. The hull itself will increase the reload, I believe. But um, it's comparatively speaking, it's short range. I mean, you're going to have to get like in range of gargoyles and stuff like that to kill them. So that's going to be really tough. I'm not sure that I would build this Gilded Pirate if I were you. I'm not sure that I would build this. So hopefully I explained why. And GDaddy D has a fleet of Harlock and Atlas Carrier. Let me scroll down. I just want to see if Kilted Pirate had any kind of... Well, I think the Dredges are great, man. I'm jealous. I wish I had Dredges. I think I do have Dredges, but the thing is, they came out after I built my nuke cruiser fleet. That's the story of my life. You know what I mean? The story of my life. So I'm jealous that you don't have that. You have the Dredges, but I'm not sure. I think you'd be better off sticking the launchers just because they're longer range, and I don't know that the armor points would. The armor points that you have on here, even though they're really good armor points for a rush fleet, I don't think it's good enough. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And it should be Blaze. Blaze is longer range, but I got to tell you, if it's for hitting bases, then I wouldn't recommend that either. Is because the Blaze. I wouldn't recommend the Blaze either because the DPS is going to go way, way down. Particularly against buildings. So the Blaze was actually intended for fleet versus fleet. It's got much better range, but it was intended for fleet versus fleet. So I still don't think I would recommend this for hitting bases, but it might be okay for reverse. Might be good for reverse. Oh, sorry, man. I'm like having to scroll like crazy to get to everything, so I do apologize. I do apologize. But it sounds, at least I got there eventually, right? So I kind of figured out what you were going for. All right. All right. Okay, so here we have a mixed fleet, a Harlock Atlas carrier, and you've got regular R5 Atlas carriers. They're all a little different. I think you'd be better off with the more evade. Now, see this first one here, you got 50.7 evade. So I guess you're doing that, took that out of my book, didn't you? Where you have one high evade boat. And this D5C does not exist yet. Okay, the D5 Charlie does not exist. That was something that somebody suspected was coming down the road once upon a time, but the D5 Charlie does not exist. So as of yet. And on the Harlock Atlas carrier, though, because if you really want to take advantage of the random launch override, I would go with all Hornets. And I think that you might be better off doing all D5E. If you could stick with the evade armor on all of this, I think you'd be a lot happier. Because there's a lot less There's a lot less of the brimstone missiles and stuff like that that does the splash penetrative damage. There's a lot less of that these days. People are switching over to executioners and that, which means that the evade is coming back. Okay, so I think evade is what you want. Now if you're worried about let's see what else you got on here. I think you're going really, really heavy with the phalanx, and I think you might be even overdoing it. I think if you went with all evade armor and just got down to like one phalanx per boat, I think you'd be okay. Except for the Harlock. Just the other 4 boats, put 1 phalanx per boat, so it'll be 4 phalanx in the fleet, and put the rest anti-mortar. I think you'd be happiest with that one. And let's see who that was. Okay, that was G Daddy D. Okay, so you want me to make those changes real quick? Let me see here. So here we got Hornets, and I think you ought to stick with that if you really want to take advantage of the random launch override. Here you have D5E, so all right. So I think that there will do you good right there for the first boat because the D5C doesn't exist. Here, it looks like the rest of them you're sacrificing a bit on the armor point. So this one here has 15,000. The rest of them all have 13,000. And the weight's kind of short, so I'm not going to play with that too much. I just stick with the D4Es. All right. And I think if you did 1 phalanx, 3 per boat, like that, and then did a couple of anti-morts on each boat. I don't know if you want to do Bs. We'll see how the weight works out, right? You can do a couple of those on each boat, and then we just copy. Okay, I'm already way over. But you can kind of get the idea where I'm going with this. If you wanted to switch a couple of these out for A's, you could. Let's do A right there, and then I'll just do copy. There we go. So G Daddy D, this is what I'm thinking about, buddy. Something like along the lines of this. And really on these other Atlas carriers, the only one that I really highly recommend Hornets on is the Harlocks, and that's because of the random launch override feature. Some of these other ones, like this one right here, if you decided to go with Scarabs, the Scarabs actually weigh less. Okay. Scarabs actually weigh less, and on top of that, they so you can get weight back that way, and then and stick with your Bs like so, and they actually add to your chaining effects because see you have the UAV power cell on there, which has a chaining range, right, which is 30. This actually extends that chaining range. Okay, so you could actually take advantage of your fleet this way. This is probably more in the direction I would steer you in, quite honestly. If it was between you and me. And I'm actually going to take this one, G Daddy D, and I'm going to paste it in here for you. I don't know what everybody else thinks of that, but I really like this one here for G Daddy D. This is what I would recommend anyway, something along these lines. If you wanted to mix those UAVs up a little bit and put some, in the regular Atlas carriers, not the Harlock, keep the Harlock all Hornets, but the other ones, if you wanted to put some Dragonflies in there, you could. If you wanted to stick with Hornets because that's all you had, I mean, that's fine too. But just saying the Scarabs could add to the chaining range that the UAV power cells offer. And all right, so boy, that was way the heck up there. Okay, now that was there. Yeah, Altair, I can definitely do that. I can give it a shot. All right, now Justice, I see you pasted this link in here twice. So let me see, 60 mm.